Oh boy, my bonds with this song run deeper than I let on as a kid. It seemed every time I turned on MTV, the acoustic performance of Alive was spinning, and I would grab my guitar and run back into the room and try to follow along with Stone, and that, in short, is how I learned to play the guitar. So today we tackle this song that is such a big part of so many of our hearts for Sam McKelvey, Simon Hall, Benny McGee, Jorge Renato Osaña Malpartida, J-Rom from here on out, Enna, Blade Hart, Owen Ham, Powell Stano, Tony M, Justin Taylor, AJ Talk, Scoot Mayhem, and you. This is going to be a Stone-centric video. I found a whole bunch of things that I was not expecting would be there, and this was super fun to pick apart. But first we have to unravel the mystery of those first few intro syllables that happen on the album, and then in no live situation exactly that same way ever again. Grab some fat strings up around 15-ish and give it an epic slide down. And then, while you're sliding down, jump out of the plane, so to speak, and reach for G2 with your pointer finger, and you're going to strum pretty much just D and G. If you get some other stuff sloppily, that's okay, but this is a tiny D power chord. And then no fingers on any strings. That's a sloppy G chord, and then land on one finger A. So what's going on is epic slide down, tiny D chord, sloppy G chord, A, and that's of course the first chord of the magical riff, but now smoothly is that, but of course you'll see him take care of it in all kinds of different ways, including just start on A, or, you know, slide, and then just the sloppy G and into the A, but I believe is what we're hearing on the record. Alright, we've made it to the first chord. Play your A chord, and then you're going to slide up from 2 to 7 on the A string with your pointer finger, but when you get to 7, we don't almost want to hear that note hardly at all. Your finger's just going to fall off and fly away. And right when it does, you're going to pluck the open D string. Then you're going to hammer on to 7 and hammer on to 9 and then pluck 7, and that's half of it. Then give it a strum. We only want to hear the A and the D strings there, and that's 2 A notes before we go back down to the A chord. Second time, do your fall off routine. But this time when you get up to 9, back down to 7, back up to 9, give it a bend, pull off to 7, and then pull off that finger. You're going to get the D, the G, and maybe the B strings to ring out there, and that's another sloppy G chord. 7, 9, 7, pull off. And that's it. That's the riff. I was watching the BBC performance of this song from, I believe, 1992, and in that video, you can clearly see Stone's middle finger on D10, his ring finger on G10, then pinky finger reaches up to 12, and then pointer finger grabs G9, and the other 2 fingers fall off. So the D string doesn't change, but the G string goes 10, 10, 10, 10, 12, 9, but that's... who wants to play that there? Do this instead. G5, B6, it's the exact same 2 notes and motion. Pinky finger reaches up to B8, and then they both fall down to 5. So the G string doesn't change, but the B string goes 6, 8, 5. I vote that. One of my favorite things about this song is the subtle use of the palm mute on the A chord to take it down a notch in the verse. So instead of wailing away on your A, you're going to give it a... and then do your riff. Especially the way it opens up at the end, and then gets knocked down again. When it's different, that's the G string 7th fret. And it opens up again at the end. something to this do-do-do-do-do-do. That's the G string. 5, 5, 7, 5. Into the chorus. The chords for which are E, G, D, and A. Don't let me or anyone dissuade you from playing the regular open chords here, however, a day's worth of digging has revealed the following in so much as what I believe Stone is doing in the chorus. An E power chord, that's A7, D9, G9. But of course there's some magic motion here as well. And it's a sloppy affair. What we want to hear mostly is G7, D9, D7, but if you kind of just smash your pointer finger down at G7 and kind of whatever surrounding strings you happen to get, then D9 only, and then your pointer finger will wiggle its way up one string towards the ceiling for the last bit of the magic motion. Doesn't sound so great slow, but this is a great place for your pointer finger to be for the next thing we need to do, which of course is a G chord, but if you watch any videos of Stone playing alive, his hand never moves from up heresville. It's a C-shaped G chord, which involves your pinky finger going to A10, your ring finger going to D9, and your middle finger going to B8. You'll recognize that as a C shape. Ring finger comes off, and back on. So far we have... Then we're going to make an A-shaped D chord. That's the 7th fret of the D, G, and B strings for just one strum. And then the B string all by itself is going to go 8, 7, 10, 8, 7, G9, G6, G open, followed by D, 7 to 9. And look, your ring finger ended up right where it needs to be to make your E power chord for the beginning of the whole thing. Those two Zen moments, the one where your pointer finger ends up in the bar, right when you need to make that C-shaped G, and your ring finger ending up right where it needs to be for the first chord of the next go-around. We've completed a Stone Zen circle. I need to present two more things about the chorus for you. One is another possibility, and one is something different he did at a different time. But maybe instead of the bar, which I really like because of how convenient it is for getting to that C-shaped G, but I'm thinking perhaps you can decide for yourself, maybe instead of the bar, it's just an open, sloppy strum. Which I find that makes it more difficult for me to get to that horrible G chord, but I think I might be liking a little bit more for accuracy, but I'm going to say you do your favorite there. My favorite is the bar. Maybe it's the open strum. Yeah. And then there's something I saw Stone do at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction on that video. Go watch it and see if you can find it and hear it. But it was something like this. And his hand was here, which it never is in those other videos I referred to. And then his wrist did a double quadruple backflip move, and this explains it. But if we play our G chord instead of the horrible G shape, maybe he was sick of it as well, as D5, G7, and B8. And then we want D and G to be 7, just kind of like we didn't want to do for the do-do-do-do part. And then we're going to move to D9, G7, and maybe B8, which is part of your C-shaped G here, right? So... Anyways, I don't know why you'd want to, but I think he did, and you can try that if you want. Then we have the first Wham section, which is just half of a Wham section. Take your pinky finger and put it on B12. Ring finger goes on G11, and pointer finger goes on D9. And this is one of those spots where I always thought, I wonder how Jeff came up with that bass line, because he goes... Right, and that's awesome, but what I didn't realize is that that motion is in this part. So what we got, then your middle finger is going to go to E11, and then your middle finger is going to get lost, and your pointer finger is going to grab the A string 9th fret. And that's all the farther this one goes. guess is that Stone wrote Jeff's bass line there. The next time something is different is the next time we get to that spot, and we're going to do it just as we did it. But now we're going to play an F sharp chord, bar chord style. Your pointer finger's right where it needs to be, of course. We want A9, D, G, B, 11. And on the record, you hear that one guitar pop in, and it's a pinky finger on B and E12. So... give me an A7 chord. That's A with an open G string. Use whatever fingers you like. Give it a strum. Take whatever finger you have on the B string off. And then we want a D chord with nothing on the E string. So a D suspended 2. That's the first time. The second time starts the same. But then we're just going to reach for the G string second fret with your pointer finger, and we're only strumming the D and the G strings. The G string is going to go 2, 4, 2. Then we're moving the whole circus up 2 frets, so it's bar chord smorgasbord extravaganza 2020, but it's B7, that's bar from the A string down with your pointer finger, and then D4, B4. Get rid of your pinky finger for the same thing, relatively speaking. And then move your ring finger to G4 and your pinky finger to B5. That is a D-shaped E suspended 2 chord. That's the first one. The second one starts the same, of course. But we can't do that reachy thing that we could do back when in the good old times when we weren't playing these bar chords and we had open strings. So just move your ring finger to G4 and strum to that G string. And then bounce back and forth between your B string 2nd fret and your G string 4th fret. So... and the last two are the non-bouncy variety. Into the last chorus. The last chorus, which of course is the same as all the other chori, but when the solo begins, Stone stops doing all that fancy stuff and hands the spotlight over to Mike. In the older videos, you'd see him just playing the open chords, as we mentioned earlier. I've seen videos where he's playing the chords kind of up here, but leaving most of the motion out. It's E, G, D, and A, however you want to take care of it. And that's it. Now we've done a live. I would say this is one of those ones where now I'm sad because we don't ever have to do it again, but we've got a whole nother guitar part to take care of in the solo. So plenty much more to do. Thank you so much for being here for this one. This song's awfully important to me, and I'm guessing it is for you too. I hope that was fun and helpful. I will see you next time with more stuff. Goodbye.